Alright, Rise of the Ronin finally arrived on PC, and there were some concerning whispers about its optimization. People were saying it runs terribly, crashes, and just overall isn't ready for prime time. Even the devs admitted that the ultra settings could cause FPS drops and model rendering issues, and that setting the FPS limit to 120 could make the game run in slow motion. They promised a patch to fix these problems, but here's the thing, I played it and I didn't run into any of those issues. Now that doesn't mean the issues don't exist, but it just didn't happen to me. Let's talk about it. Yep, let's talk performance. I jumped in expecting stutters, frame drops, maybe even a crash or two. But instead, I got a perfectly smooth experience. 1440p, ultra settings, locked in 120 FPS, it just works. By the way, almost 8GB VRAM for ultra settings, not bad for Koei Tecmo standards. Now, I'm not saying there aren't people having issues, but for me, zero problems.
Nice.
Of course, I could say performance could be unpredictable depending on your setup, but the devs pointed out that these issues happen regardless of PC specs. That said, Koei Tecmo has acknowledged the problems and is working on fixes. So if you are experiencing issues, a patch is on the way. Hopefully that smooths things out for everyone.
Okay.
But enough about patches and frames. What about the actual game? Well, I'm happy to report that Rise of the Ronin has a lot of familiar elements with other games, but still stands as an original experience. The character models remind me of Sekiro. Some of the dialogue delivery feels straight out of Like a Dragon series. The post-mission screens, very Ghost of Tsushima. Combat, a bit like Nioh, but more forgiving. And with cool gadgets like this flying machine, you might even get some Zelda vibes here and there. But despite all that, when you put everything together, it genuinely feels like its own thing. The swordplay is kinda satisfying. Parrying, dodging, countering, it feels tight and responsive. It's got that Sekiro style aggression but with more weapon choices. Plus, this game is easier than Sekiro. Is this a plus? As long as it's fun, I don't care. The open world doesn't try to be some grand cinematic epic or just an endless collection of beautiful landscapes. Instead, it has a slightly darker Souls-like atmosphere, but not too dark, just enough to make it feel distinct. So bottom line, if you were worried about Rise of the Ronin on PC, from my experience, you can relax.
Relax.
Sure, some people might be running into issues, but my time with the game has been buttery smooth. And more importantly, the game itself is pretty solid.
Nice.
If you are into samurai action like me, this is definitely worth checking out. By the way, I've been thinking about doing a Rise of the Ronin series in a comedy fashion, but I haven't fully decided yet. Let me know if that's something you'd want to see. And what about you? Have you played the game yet? Are you experiencing any performance issues? Or is it running just fine, like my case? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this, maybe consider hitting those buttons. It helps. See you in the next one.